What's going on, guys? It's Nando, dropping one more video for you guys, and finally I had enough time to get around to doing a comparisons video between the iPhone 7 Plus and the Galaxy S8 Plus. Now, this video is going to focus on things such as hardware comparisons, a little bit of the software comparisons, and then your day-to-day usage of the two, how they compare against each other, which one I personally find better for example, photos, battery life, features, which one is more future-proof. That's the kind of comparison video that this is going to be, and those are the type of comparison videos that I like to do when doing these type of videos. Everybody's got a preference. Everybody likes one versus the other. Maybe you like both like I do. But most people tend to lean one way or the other, or love one versus hate the other. One thing's for sure. The two phones in front of us here today are incredible phones. They are the two best phones out right now. That's my opinion. And I think it's going to be that way for at least a few more months until the Note 8 comes out, until the iPhone 8 comes out. Because other HTC phones, other Android phones, other LG phones, they don't compete with the Galaxy S8 line, in my opinion. There are things that it does better, that they do better, I should say, but overall as a complete package, I think that Samsung is the cream of the crop when it comes to Android phones. In my opinion, but if you disagree, let me know in the comment section below. Because those are the type of conversations and discussions that I love to see going on. And let me know what phone you think is the best. What is your favorite phone out right now, and what is the phone that you're looking forward to in the future? Alright, so enough of that. Let's go ahead and start discussing these two phones. Guys, so the iPhone 7 Plus on the left, the Galaxy S8 Plus on the right. I'm going to start off with some hardware comparisons because that's probably where you're going to see the most comparisons or the most talk. Why? Because people have been hammering the iPhone for their large bezels for some time now. So it's hard to get both of these phones exactly lined up because the Galaxy S8 Plus is a bit taller. It's a bit narrower than the iPhone 7 Plus. You've got a 5.5-inch screen versus a 6.2 inch screen. Obviously, just comparing bezels, look at that. I mean, we've got right where my thumb is as much bezel that the Galaxy has versus all of that on the iPhone. I mean, we've known that from the beginning. It is what it is. Apple, you know, they have no intention of changing that. At least with the previous models, they've milked that design for a while, but there is expectation and there is hope that the iPhone 8 changes that. We've seen a little bit of the future with the new iPad Pro. They have reduced the bezels a little bit. So, hardware-wise, how much screen can you get for the body? I mean, the Galaxy S8 Plus and even the regular S8 just completely destroys the iPhone in regards to that. It is what it is. They have the best screen to body ratio that there is, and especially when you're comparing it against the iPhone 7 Plus. Now, also in regards to hardware, the screen quality. This guy right here, the Galaxy S8 Plus, also completely destroys the iPhone 7 Plus. I mean, you've got the ability to go Quad HD with the Galaxy S8 Plus. You just got to go into the settings, tweak it, and you can literally change how good your screen is. Whether you want something that's going to be better for the battery life versus something that's going to look crisp all the time. The iPhone 7 Plus does not give you that ability. It's not an OLED screen. It's been the same panel that we've seen for a while. Now, that doesn't make it a bad screen by any means. It's just not as good of a screen. Now, when you're talking about screen quality, of course, you have to talk about battery life, but I'll leave that for here in just a second. Still discussing hardware. The iPhone 7 Plus gives the user the ability to listen and consume media from the top speaker part of the phone and the bottom right. That allows you to have that stereo sound, while the Galaxy S8 Plus has a small guy here at the bottom, and that's it. Nothing coming from the top. Now, to the Galaxy S8 Plus's credit, the speaker at the bottom gets very, very loud. I mean, even louder than the HTC U11 and what I've experienced with it so far. So, it does get loud. You don't have to crank it up that much. But in terms of better audio, the iPhone 7 Plus wins. In terms of build quality, the materials used, I mean, the iPhone and Apple, they've been using the same materials for a while now. They've really milked this whole aluminum back, rounded edges. That's just the the design language that they've chosen to go with for a few years now, 2-3 years. While Galaxy and Samsung, they've completely pushed this whole glass panel on the back, obviously glass on the front, with a little bit of metal to go around the phone. And when it comes to the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus, I mean, it's seamless. It's so hard to tell which portion is glass and which portion is a little bit of metal or aluminum, because it just is seamless. And in my opinion, when you're comparing these two in terms of build quality, it's a toss-up. I'm going to be honest with you. It is a toss-up. If you ask me and you ask most people out in the streets which phone looks sexier, which phone looks best, I think they're going to pick the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus, because it just looks like a sexy phone. I mean, the screen has that infinity edge. It just spills over. It looks premium. It just looks like the better phone. But when you're using both of these phones and using them in a day-to-day capacity, dropping your phone, scratching your phone, and things like that, I think having this aluminum like the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus have is more of a benefit, because you don't see the smudges as much as you see it on this glass panel. Granted, this is the black one, so if you change the color, it might be better or worse in terms of collecting dust and smudges and fingerprints, but you shouldn't have to change the color choice. You shouldn't have to go against your preference in order to reduce how much smudges your phone gets. I mean, we do that, but we shouldn't have to do that. And whether you go with the space gray, whether you go with the black one or the rose gold one or the red one, you're not going to collect as many smudges or fingerprints on the back of your phone like you do with the Galaxy S8 Plus. Now, with that being said, both are premium materials. Both have not cheapened out on their quality. So, in my opinion, it's a toss-up. Again, it's a toss-up, because every time I use either or, I put a case on it, and I appreciate them both for what they bring to the table. When you're also comparing hardware, you got to compare the cameras. Apple's got this dual lens situation going on, while Samsung has a single lens. Samsung has a 12 megapixel, Apple also has a 12 megapixel. But Apple with the dual lens allows you to get that optical zoom up to 10, I think it is, or total zoom is up to 10, optical's up to 2, but then the digital kicks in and takes you up to 10. So that's Apple's little, trick that they've got up their sleeve with their dual lens. There's rumors that Samsung is going to finally bring a dual lens situation over to the Galaxy Note 8. But as of right now, cameras are both fantastic. They take incredible pictures. My personal usage, in my opinion, on the two is that when it comes to, let me flip this back over for you guys. When it comes to the back camera, when it comes to your main rear camera, I think that the Galaxy, actually, I'm going to be honest, I think that it's a toss-up between the two. I was going to say that I think that the Galaxy S8 Plus takes better pictures, picture in, picture out, more regularly, but I really think that too is a toss-up. It depends on the lighting situation. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to zoom in, then the iPhone takes the better picture. If you're trying to, sorry about that, I just wanted to unlock the phone and leave it like that. There we go. If you're trying to zoom in, I think the iPhone takes the better picture. If you're trying to take a quick picture, just snap and go, I think that the Galaxy S8 Plus takes the better picture. But the difference, where I've noticed the biggest difference, is with the front-facing camera. Now, the Galaxy S8 Plus has focusing for the front-facing camera. The Galaxy, or I should say the iPhone 7 Plus does not. But I like the quality of the iPhone 7 Plus front-facing camera much better than I like of the Galaxy S8 Plus. It doesn't come out as grainy. It looks like it brings in better light, and that I appreciate. So that's my opinion so far in using both the phones. Camera-wise, with the rear-facing main camera, I think it's a toss-up once again. But when you're taking selfies, I appreciate the iPhone 7 Plus's camera a little more. Now that we've kind of covered the build quality, screen to body ratio, hardware in terms of camera, I think that overall we've got most of the hardware out of the way. I mean, little things such as, to some it may be little, to some they are not, but things such as wireless charging, the Galaxy S8 Plus has, fast charging, also the Galaxy S8 Plus has. So those are things that they're talking about bringing to the iPhone 7 Plus, but as of right now, this wins in features like that, especially when you're looking into buying a new car these days. Look, guys, I've been looking at some cars out there, and the cars are even including wireless charging, like little pads and pods for you to put your phone. So I don't know if that's them assuming that, hey, look, most people these days with an Android phone has wireless charging, so that's the future, or if that's also thinking, hey, Apple's going to come out with wireless charging for their phone, so we need to jump on the bandwagon or not. But the point is, your iPhone is not going to be charging wirelessly, and your Galaxy S8 Plus will be. Fingerprint scanners or sensors. Apple keeps it in the same spot with the iPhone 7 Plus. Samsung puts it in the back by the camera lens. So personally, I prefer, in terms of actually getting to your fingerprint scanner accurately, quickly, and not actually screwing anything else up, I prefer where the iPhone 7 Plus has their fingerprints scanner. In terms of quickness, I still think that the iPhone 7 Plus has the faster fingerprint scanner or sensor. But with that being said, I feel like the reason sometimes that this one is faster than the Galaxy S8 Plus is because of the location on the Galaxy S8 Plus. Because a lot of the times I found that when I do reach for my phone, if it's in my pocket, I already know that it's going to be on the back end, so I take the extra second to carefully place my finger. But sometimes I still mess up, and in fumbling, I end up putting probably half my finger on the sensor, half my finger on the camera lens. That ends up making me actually not have an accurate scan. So I think that the location is what ends up screwing the speed as to which you unlock your phone. Now, the Galaxy S8 Plus does incorporate face scanning and iris scanning, which in itself is pretty freaking ridiculous and amazing. The iPhone 7 Plus does not, but that's going to be part of the software comparisons, although you do need that extra sensor up top to do that, so that is hardware. So I think that encompasses all of the major hardware differences and similarities between these two phones. Now, moving over to software, I'm not going to get into too much detail regarding software because we already know iOS versus Android. Galaxy S8 Plus is rocking, Samsung's take on Android, and we know for years now that Samsung has what a lot of Android users like to call, bloatware or a very heavy Android skin. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. But if you guys have followed me before and checked my previous videos on the Galaxy S8 Plus, then you know that I feel that this year's version of Android, or this year's skin of TouchWiz, what Samsung calls it, on the Galaxy S8 Plus is their best skin yet. I think it's not as heavy as it has been. I think that it actually is faster. But with that being said, it's still not as fast as iOS. It's still not as fast as going through menus. It's still not as fast as processing things. That's just my experience when using both of these phones. And believe me, I have used these phones. I've had this phone since it's come out, and I've been using basically the Galaxy S8 Plus since it's come out until the HTC U11 recently came out. But I think that when comparing both software, I think that the iPhone takes it. Not in terms of features, but in terms of reliability, in terms of you know what you're going to get. If that's not something you're looking for, obviously you're most likely not going to be an Apple fan. I'm not even going to say a fanboy, but an Apple fan or an appreciator of iOS. In terms of features, obviously Samsung wins with Galaxy S8 Plus because they're everywhere. Now, one thing that Samsung has done this time around that they haven't in the past is incorporated Bixby. I shouldn't even say virtual assistants, but this AI, I don't really like to talk much about it because I am a believer in it, but I'm not a believer that current software, other than maybe Google's Google Assistant, actually brings value to our lives. So I barely use Siri. I've barely used Bixby. In my previous reviews of the Galaxy S8 Plus, I discussed that I hadn't used Bixby. I started using it a little bit. I don't like it. Its main functionality or features have yet to be released for it, so that says a lot right there. And I don't like Apple's Siri. I think it's slow. I don't think it does much. And I think the one that wins it is Google Assistant. So between the two, they both have their own version of it. With the Galaxy S8 Plus, you do get to use Google Assistant. So it's just a matter if you want to press the hardware button on the left-hand side to activate Bixby, or do you just want to press and hold the home button to activate Google Assistant. But I don't really care for any of that. If I have to choose, Google Assistant gets the win. Now, battery life. And again, if you guys have followed me in the past, you know how much I appreciate battery life. Battery life is one of those things that I kind of incorporate half and half between hardware and software. Obviously, the bigger the battery, the more likely that your phone is going to last longer. But with that being said, if you have a big battery, more often than not, you have a bigger screen or a better screen, and that also requires more power. Now, this is a 3,500 milliamp hour battery, and I think that the iPhone 7 Plus is something like 2,800 or 2,850 or something like that, or right around the 3,000. But this one definitely has the bigger battery capacity. I am very impressed with the battery life on the Galaxy S8 Plus. I've always been impressed with the battery life on the iPhone 7 Plus. In terms of standby, I think that the iPhone 7 Plus has the best standby time. I think that's something you can expect across Apple's ecosystem, across Apple's line, between iPads and Macs and things like that. But I think that in terms of actual usage of the phone, the Galaxy S8 Plus wins, because I tend to get about anywhere from 5.5 to 7.5 hours of screen on time with the Galaxy S8 Plus, and I'd say I get anywhere between 5 and 6.5 hours of screen on time with the iPhone 7 Plus. If you're the type of person that doesn't use your phone a lot throughout the day, then the iPhone 7 Plus is going to last you an eternity. If you're the type of person that really milks some good YouTube sessions or some good web browsing sessions or takes a lot, but whatever it is that you do that uses the phone, the Galaxy S8 Plus is going to last longer. The Galaxy S8 Plus also charges much faster. It gives you wireless charging, and it's also going to give you the ability to eke out more battery life with power-saving modes that the iPhone 7 Plus does not have. It's also going to allow you to change the screen resolution to also eke out more battery. The iPhone 7 Plus also does not have that. So there's my take on the battery life between the two. And that pretty much covers it for me. One last thing I forgot to mention between hardware is that they're both water resistant. I don't know which one's really better than the other, but hey, if you're going to dunk it in the pool, you're going to dunk it in the bathtub, in the toilet seat, your phones are going to survive. You're going to be fine. Obviously, the iPhone 7 Plus does not have a headphone port. The Galaxy S8 Plus does. One uses Lightning, one uses USB-C. And that's pretty much it, guys. If I forgot something or missed something, please let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, also, please let me know in the comment section below. But please like this video. It's one of my longer videos. When I try to do these comparisons, I like them to be as real as possible. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay geeky like always. I will be doing comparisons between the Galaxy S8 Plus and the HTC U11. Also hardware comparisons. I'm not going to necessarily do it with the iPhone 7 Plus, I don't think. But if you do want that, let me know in the comments section below. And like always, once again, stay geeky. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace and salute.